Mhm.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another expert workshop with someone very, very exciting. I can't wait to introduce you to Stacey Lauren, who's going to be showing us exactly how to build a thriving community on Facebook. So I am super excited to be having her here live. For those of you who are joining us, please let us know in the comments. Want to make sure that we're not here by ourselves. We love company, so definitely let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from, how you've been finding the challenge, and what questions you have of Stacey and what you're most excited to learn about today. If those of you are going, what challenge? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me share a little bit more. So this is an expert workshop that we're running as part of the 21-day content habit challenge that we are doing in partnership with the amazing team at Ecamm. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bona Rai. I am one of the 3 co-founders here at Capshow, and it's been my great pleasure to be hosting you as part of these workshops. So definitely let us know. Hey, Paul, thanks for chiming in. So basically what we have been doing as part of the Content Habit Challenge is over 21 days. We're now, I think, in day 17. We have been doing a piece of content every single day to build or rebuild a habit to create more intentional and strategic content to make sure that we can get our message heard by those people who really need to hear it. So it's been a ton of fun. We are in the final week, so it's almost time for us to wrap this challenge, but hopefully it's been an amazing time. And we still have a few more days left to go. So the final push is going to be really, really fun. All right. So just as a reminder for those of you who are part of the challenge, if you haven't yet and you're still kind of playing catch up, trying to make sure that you have a view of where everything's at, this is your one-stop shop for everything related to the challenge. You can find the schedule, you can find your bingo card, you can find the daily prompts and the weekly themes. Everything you need is here. So if you haven't downloaded this yet and you need some sanity for the last few days of the challenge, make sure you do that. We've also got some fun prizes up for grabs, but that's through playing bingo or earning, doing all of your tasks for the week. Sorry. So there's going to be some really, really fun prizes that we give out. That's going to be happening as part of our wrap-up party this Friday. So can't believe that's coming up so soon. So stay tuned for that. But basically, we'll be giving away these prizes for people who've been participating and really showing up. So make sure you put in the work for the remaining parts of the challenge so you can win some very cool prizes as well. And finally, we also have some awesome badges. Oops, that's not showing up. Oh, all right. Well, we do have some cool badges that you can earn as part of this challenge. It is basically every week, you have some content creation tasks to do. And for those of you who do it for the whole week, you earn a very special badge that you can put in as part of your trophy case. So make sure you're following along and doing that. It's been so much fun already. I know a lot of you have been sharing how much more intentional you've been with your content and kind of doing it with a community of like-minded, creators and entrepreneurs. Obviously, makes a big difference as well. So thank you so much to those of you who've been taking part. All right. Sorry, my throat is a little bit sore because I've been having a little bit of a cough. So if I sound a little, husky, my apologies for that. But it's just been one of those weeks. But now let's get to the main event. So I know you're all here to hear from an amazing entrepreneur, a community builder, and podcast host, Stacey Lauren. She is basically the CEO and also the host of Do the Thing. And she's someone that really, really practices what she preaches about just getting in and doing the thing. She has built some phenomenal Facebook communities of the most highly engaged people I've ever seen. And not just that, she's actually got the secret sauce and has actually been able to teach it to other people as well. So I'm so excited for you guys to meet and learn from Stacey, because now is really the time that we need to feel more connected, and build our communities and make sure that we have people that we can actually relate to, connect with, and really kind of share our message with. So you're going to get a lot out of this session. It is live, so make sure you drop some questions for Stacey as you're listening and learning from her. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Stacey Lauren. Hey, Stacey.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun. And I just figured out how to see the comments, so I'm really excited. Hi, guys. Nice
Yay,
to see
cool.
you.
Yes, yes. And Stacey's an old hand at this, so definitely make sure that you're dropping the questions as you have them. I've already got some Stacey's so amazing. You don't need me to tell you guys how amazing Stacey is. So, all right, but let's get into it, Stacey. I really want to, one thing that we've been talking about as part of you teaching this workshop is, how do you kind of get your first 100 kind of founding members, raving fans, because they really set the DNA for your community. For people who are like newer to this, really want to dig into that a little bit. So, but I think where we want to start is, especially in this day and age where a lot of it's digital, the importance, I guess, of a gathering place is how you talk about it. Like, why is that important for us, regardless of what we do and how we go about doing it?
Yeah, it's such a great question because a lot of people want to start at the end, but this is really like the beginning, right? It's like, why do we even want a gathering place? And it's really so oftentimes people think like Instagram or LinkedIn or even Facebook like is just this one-off billboard type of thing where you're
Mm,
basically like posting everything that you want to say in this one post, but it's only like a one-way communication. Whereas when you have a gathering place and you're building a community, you get to take all those people that you've met in all these different places and bring them into one place. And so now that's not just you and them talking, it's them talking to each other. And so
yeah.
that's where they become friends, they're supporting each other, and you're seeing it in the 21-day content challenge. The community's busting, everyone's like loving on each other and supporting and like, oh, you figured it out, and oh, you did this. And it just becomes this like cheerleading place of just love, right? And so that's why I love a gathering place, because you're able to create the conversations with all the people. And
Mm,
that's where I think the true connection happens, true community happens, and everyone's able to do whatever that thing is that's the shared vision of the community so much more, because you're no longer alone in your experience. You're doing it with other people.
yes. I love that. And just that kind of humility around it's not just about them wanting to connecting with you as a leader of the community, but, kind of connecting with each other and really deriving value from that. And Stacey, you do focus on Facebook groups. So what have you found that works? What is it about Facebook groups that works really well versus, other platforms of where gathering places could happen digitally?
Yeah, so I love Facebook groups. My program's actually platform agnostic now, just because people do
Cool.
like different groups. But the reason why I love Facebook groups so much is, number one, that's where most of the people are, right? Especially my age range and like the people that are like part of my world. I'm already on Facebook. I'm actually helping run a challenge for someone else's community right now that's not on Facebook. And it is a little harder to like
Mm,
open up the browser and like get in there, even though
yes.
it's an amazing community. And so so I like it for that reason. But the other reason is because as soon as people join, you have this ability to ask them questions when they're joining,
Mm,
and what they want to achieve when they're joining the group. And whatever are those three top questions that are important to you, and then
yes.
also we all, love Mark Zuckerberg for what he's created, but we don't want him to own our information. So we get to also collect emails when people join, and then it immediately goes onto our email platform. And so I love it for that reason too. It's a great list building system. And then in terms of the other reason, it's private. So it's so great because
Mm,
for those people that maybe aren't comfortable enough yet to like be blasting out on Instagram or LinkedIn, and that was me. It took me a year in my private community before I was even comfortable like showing what I was even doing out in the world. And so there's this private place where you could kick people out if they're not the rules. And so yeah, that's the other thing that I love about it
yes.
too.
Yes. It creates like a psychologically safe community as well. So I love that. Now, obviously the viewers have noticed you are in front of a whiteboard, which I was saying kind of makes me very much in the mode of like, I want to learn. I'm ready to learn. I'm in classroom mode. So Stacey, I'd love for you to share a little bit more detail about exactly how you go about this, this system that you've created. I mean, a lot of it obviously comes about having the heart and the right mindset. But there is obviously a way to go about it. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more with everyone exactly how they can go about and do what, or start to emulate what you've created.
Yeah. So the first thing is you have to like open yourself up. So a lot of people think they have to be something for people. They think they have to show like a version of themselves that people want. But what people really
Mm,
want to be able to like fall into this gathering place in the most beautiful way is for you to first be open and be vulnerable and really like show your true self. So then when they're coming into your gathering place into your community, they're coming from like the version of you that is so real and so true. And that's where the fulfillment comes. That's where the engagement comes from, because they're tapped into that vision. And then from there, I'll go to my whiteboard. This is new, so I haven't taught this before this way. So I'm like really excited, because as my background was I built these communities sort of like organically, where I was like testing a formula for how to help people achieve success. And I was using my group as a way to test this formula. And so the accidental part was I just actually learned how to build an audience around everything, because I did different challenges, from like dating to starting a podcast to going live to bucket list to all these different challenges. And so what came from that is I just built these audiences, until finally I started going to these events and people are like, what is going on? How are you doing what you're doing? I didn't even realize it was like not normal, right? I thought like everyone could just do that, until they saw something was special. And that's when I started teaching people how to like build their own audience and their own connected community. So this is new, where it's been evolving as I like show people. But basically everything I do has to do with like comfort circles. So even when it comes to content, I'll just show that really quick. When it comes to content, like there's one circle. Can you see it? I don't even think you can see it. I'll try it with a different marker, and then if not,
yeah, we can see it. Yeah, it's
you can?
good. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So even with, we'll talk about content first, since that's what CapShow, and I want to talk about how CapShow is so amazing for like also bringing in the 100 people. But even with content, a lot of people think they have to immediately go live on Instagram or like do this like big thing, in order to get started in the online world. But if you want, you could start with just posting, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. So you could start with a simple like typing it, like it doesn't even have to be like a video. Then when you're comfortable like sharing your voice, and you're comfortable like almost like owning your expression of who you are more, then you can do a simple audio recording. You don't even have to be on video yet. You could actually just like have a beautiful scenery and just start talking, about whatever it is you want. And that's how you can like start to kind of like activate your voice, but also get to know yourself in the process. And then the next comfort circle. So each of these is like an inch, right? Like you're moving an inch. And then you're able to go on video, which is great, because then you're kind of like able to see yourself more. So my story was I didn't turn the video on in my podcast for 80 episodes because I wasn't comfortable going on video yet. And so I like to like help people see that like we don't have to go all the way to the end. And then you're able to go live. And there's also like, first you can go live into a private group, and then you can start going live outside. So that's like one level of the comfort circle. We'll just use my hand. Anyway, so now I've got my new comfort circle, which I'm excited about, which is how to build your audience and grow your group. So a lot of times when people are looking to like get their gathering place, their first inclination is to do Facebook ads or to promote it to people they don't know, right? And so what I like to help people do is show them that there's all these life experiences that we've had when we've been like learning the thing that we're either teaching now, or the problem that we're solving with the product we have or the program we have. And so we're really wanting to almost like look back at all these experiences that have shaped us with who we are, and be able to really start there. And so we want to really go to people that that we know, or not even know, but like your current network of people. So these could be people that are mentors. Could be people that have been past clients. They could be people on your email list. They could be people that you've gone on their podcast. They've gone on your podcast. People that are already engaging with your content on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. And then all you're doing, it's like, it sounds so funny when I say it because it's so simple, is instead of like waiting for the algorithm to bring the person in or for them to join your thing, because you put a link there, it's all you're doing is anyone that's already been engaging with you in any way, whether it's real life or in person, you're just sending them a personalized invitation to join your new community. And you're telling them, bless you, and you're telling them that they're a founding member of your community, and would they like an invitation? And then from there, they're then basically, they're joining. And so it's just an easy way to get your immediate like bunch of people, is from people that you've already know, people that you've already met. And so that's why I say your current network of people, if you tap into that first, that really helps you get your first 100 founding members. And then from there, you go to like the next circle, which is really like, what are all those communities that those people have been a part of? And especially like, when you're learning new stuff, you all of a sudden have like initials and like special language for things that you're doing. Like sometimes, like, I don't even know like all the initials that are out there. Like even if you think of the business world, like SOPs or, like all these initials, there's all these things that we've done in our life where we have like special language within these communities, right? Like those are the communities that you really want to be able to go to and now serve at a level that's like coming from a servant leader and being able to contribute. And then as those people start to see what you're doing, then you're able to then invite them into your community. And it's not just like you're trying to sell people anything. They're coming into your free community both to be a collaboration partner or a community member. And so they're giving value or getting value from your community. And so the communities is really the next level. And so an example is I went to college a long time ago, Florida State. And I don't really like remember that much from like going to the college, other than like I'm a Seminole and it's in Tallahassee, but there's not much like conversation that I can have like around this college. But I also, so if I'm connecting with someone that went to my college and I'm like, oh, hey, join my community, it's kind of like the conversation ends there because I don't have much language around it. Whereas, let's say I'm like inviting someone in that I sold books with door to door when I was in college. I have so much language around that because, we worked in the rain. We like have this story. It's called a pony story. There's like this rhinoceros where you have to have thick skin. There's like all of these like common bonds that I have with those people. So as soon as they are like coming into my community, it's like an immediate conversation point. And so this is where my first challenge, it was a dating challenge. I got the first 100 people from basically me mentioning it in a Peloton singles over 40 group where I'm like, hey, I'm running a challenge. And then everyone all of a sudden is like, yeah, I want in and I'm going to join. And that's where I got my first 100 members. And it's because when you're doing Peloton, you have similar language with people that are doing Peloton. The trainers, you're into positive thinking, you have a lot of quotes. And so that's kind of like the second layer is like, where are these communities that you are sharing like the similar language with that you can now invite them into your group or just even be friends with them on Facebook or whatever platform you post on. So that way, when you post, immediately they're seeing your stuff and they're going to be coming in that way. And then the next layer, and again, we're probably already at 100 founding members just with these two layers, but the next layer is then pretty much like, who do they know, right? And so there's fun little giveaways that you could do inside the community where you're able to like tap in to the people that they know, or you could do these. I did this fun referral tag game in my community where I gave a free seat to my wealth experiment program for anyone that referred a friend, and they got a point. And then I did the fun spinning wheel, and I had a bunch of people that came in. I think 100 new people just came in just from that one game, that I did. And so there's like a way to now tap into the people that they know, which is really great. And then also that's where you're starting to get into fun collaboration partners, like our relationship. Like how amazing is that? We share audiences in terms of what we like to do. And now we're able to, I'm so excited to meet you now. Like I brought Deidre into my community a few times. I'm excited to connect with you. I'm coming in yours. And so it's that kind of just back and forth fun that we get to do together, as we're getting to know each other's stuff. And then the next layer, which is where everyone usually starts, but this should be like the last thing, is like the Facebook ads, because now you like, or whatever kind of cold stuff that you're doing, because now you really have these beginning people that are really like, they're like, they know you so well that you're really just, oh my gosh, you're so dialed in to who you are and like what you want from the community. And then they feel a part of it because they've like co-created, the space. And so when people are coming in, they're like supporting and encouraging and loving. And you see it now, right? Like people are helping each other. If someone can't figure something out, it's like, oh, great, I've learned this. I'm going to do it. And so that's what happens when you start with this 100 founding members, is
Mm.
it gives you the way as the founder to get to know the people so much better than if you were like looking for 2,000 to start, because there's no way that you could know all those people.
Mm. Stacey, I love this. I'm kind of blown away by the simplicity of it, but also the intention behind it. Because, like, I think, like you said, we're all guilty of this where we just want to be like, let's just get, volume. And volume is great. But the great thing about this approach is you're starting with almost like a nucleus of just very, very qualified people from your network already that you then expand out, based on what you already know and love about them. So this is absolutely genius. We've got a couple of questions that I would love your thoughts on. So Stephen was saying, how do I get this up here? I don't know if I can. Anyway, so this is a really great question, especially kind of going from our existing network to, to the communities. What's the best way to get people from my personal Facebook page, around 600 friends, over to the business page and then the Facebook group? What would your take be on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I like to have people go straight to the Facebook group personally. Like my business page is there, but it's only existing if I want to do Facebook ads. That's when I need that. But otherwise, I really focus on my Facebook group. And I would suggest that just in the beginning, because if you have too many things you're looking at, it's hard to do anything. And if you just have one focal point, because even with the Facebook group, you can get a domain redirect. So like, for example, my Facebook group's under like dothethingcollaboration.com, and it goes directly to my Facebook group. So now that's like my landing page for like everything, right? And
Mm,
so this is like such a simple strategy, Stephen, but like it works so well, is now anyone that's engaging on your posts on your Facebook page, especially if it's related to what your community is, all you're doing is you're looking at your likes and your comments, and then you basically are like sending them a direct message and saying like, oh, I noticed you liked my post about blank. I just wanted to let you know I just started a new community. I'm starting with founding members. We're having all these conversations. Since you have 600, you could actually just say I'm having all these conversations in my community. Would you like an invitation? And then from there, they're basically joining your community. So it's a very simple. I owned a staffing company for 20 years. And so I did a lot of like recruiting and helped recruiters hire people. And it's really similar to like that recruiting way of like just talking to people,
yes.
And oh my gosh, I can't wait for them to hear Jenna Larson, because she has some really great stuff. I think she's coming on tomorrow,
Yes.
like in terms of DMing and stuff. And so I love the way she teaches. I think it's so brilliant. And it's just really coming from this really relational way.
Yes, that I will say, and Jenna is coming on with us on Thursday, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Almost like what Stacey is teaching you about now about community building, building a gathering place that feels warm, authentic, very, very welcoming, but also very qualified. And then kind of where Jenna comes in is then how do you continue to serve that community, and then basically have conversations with them that's going to convert them into clients, partners, other
Mhm.
sorts of groups of people. So awesome. Thank you, Stacey. Hopefully that answered your question, Stephen. Let us know. And we have another one here. I think you'd mentioned this earlier, but should your group be public or private when it comes to setting up your Facebook group?
Yeah, this is really important. I always say private, because there's a lot of people, especially, I mean, I think anytime someone's wanting to join a community, there's a reason, right? They're not just like, they would just be on Instagram and follow and do the content, I want to call it brainwashing thing, where you're just like looking at one thing, looking at another. But if you're joining a community, you're wanting to have conversations around whatever that community is. And for so many people, when you're wanting to like kind of do something new and
Mm,
open yourself up, even if it's learning capsho, right? Like that's going out of someone's comfort zone sometimes, where you're taking content, you're putting it into something. When they're joining my community, it's like a whole comfort zone shift. And sometimes you don't want your friends and family to see what you're doing, because they already know who you are, and they're like,
mm,
they have a version of you in their head. And it's almost like you don't want to hear those thoughts. And not to say everyone's like that, but there's definitely a lot of people that they want to be this new version of themselves, and they don't want people
yes.
that they know to see it. And so that's why I love having the private space, because you really are giving people permission then to be more of themselves in the space,
Mm,
because it's like curated based on who's in there.
yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's so powerful. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like you said, you can also, like we spoke about earlier, it gives you the power as the owner of that community and the person who's really cultivating the DNA of that space to say no to people that, aren't the right fit for the space as well. So that's awesome. And I'm just curious, Stacey, how do you go about thinking? I think you mentioned earlier, it was really powerful about how you sort of, extend upon building communities based on, common experiences, common language. That's such a big part of it as well. But how do you go about whether it's naming or kind of, framing the community, so that it's something that people look at it and say, oh yeah, that's me. Like you said, is it,
Yeah.
do you do it through challenges like we have with the 21-day content habit challenge? Is it about identity? How do you think about how you actually name and physically present the community for people to say, yes, that's me, or no, that's definitely not me?
Yeah, such a great question. So when I'm so there's people that will say, do it for SEO because Facebook is an algorithm, so people will type in. I do it differently, especially when you're starting it, because you're starting building something based on, it's like you want to bring this energy and aliveness in what you're doing. So for
Yes.
example, I mentioned my communities, the Do the Thing Collaboration Network. I have a program that's Audience Accelerator, and then I have a Wealth Experiment. It was really important to me that I didn't want just people that wanted money that joined my program. I wanted it
Mm-hmm.
to be based on collaboration. I wanted it to be
Mm.
based on like us working together, us being friends, us supporting one another. So it was a type of person that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And the shared goal is based on collaboration. And so that's why I did it that way. And so for you guys, it's really thinking of what's that shared goal that you want your community to experience in what you're doing. And then from there, you get to take people out to play for your paid stuff. And so, like, I have the Do the Thing challenge group also, that's another community. And we run different challenges inside that group. So I'll do like a bucket list challenge. I did a sort of podcast challenge. I did a go live challenge. A 2-hour cocktail party. But the name of the group was Do the Thing challenge. So I
Mm.
like to be more broad in
Mm-hmm.
the way that I do, because I'm keeping the community. Now, if it's only a 21-day challenge, it's perfect to call the name of the group what it is, because you're most likely going to sunset it when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like a perfect example of just like, okay, we're creating a quick and dirty Facebook group. We're going to serve its purpose. It's going to serve the community. It's going to be great. And now we're, shutting it down. Or I
Yeah.
like sunsetting it is a much better word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sunsetting it into oblivion. But that actually leads to a really good point, because I do know that there's some people in the community who may be wanting to do time-based challenges, or again, things that have an expiration date, let's say. What are some strategies that you've seen work really well to then migrate them to your more evergreen community? Obviously it won't be everyone, but what are some ways that you can continue to build your existing community when you do these one-off challenges and things like that?
Yeah, so I do everything inside my main community. So
Mm,
it's all happening inside of there. And then when I'm
got it.
doing something paid, then I take them off and they do the paid thing. So I have like a Find Your Voice challenge that's a paid challenge, and that's a whole separate group on its own. So anything free that I'm doing is typically coming from the community. Now, here's the thing though that's kind of interesting, and I haven't done this yet, and I don't know if I ever will, because I like having a free space for people to access. So then I can serve everyone, if I want to. But there are people that just don't want a free community.
Mm,
It just doesn't sit right with them. And so for those people, what I suggest is still do this 100 founding member concept, where you're kind of like growing slow. Not It's fast. I don't want to say it's slow, but like starting small, because you
yes.
can get 100 people in your group in a week, just so everyone knows. But like you're basically getting those 100 people in, and then as you're loving on them, you're getting to know them. Then guess what? You don't have to have it free anymore. Like you could say anyone new that joins this community, now you're paying, and those 100
Mm,
founding members, it's kind of like going to the nightclub. When you're there first, you get in free, and the people that are there later have to pay. And so you are able to switch it. And then if you want to do a challenge, and you
mm,
want a brand new Facebook group for like to promote your paid group, then you could do a challenge in a whole separate group, because now it's a free challenge that will sunset, that will still lead to the paid group. So that's
yeah.
another strategy that I like to teach people, is like, don't get so stuck on the concept that it's free, because it doesn't have to be free forever. It's just free while you're getting it kind of legs together.
Yes, yes. I love that. And as you were going through your comfort circles, and by the way, I know your second set of comfort circles is this, I don't know if this is the first time, but it's kind of one of the first times you've showed people publicly. So I think it's such a great concept. And one thing that it reminded me of, for those of you who aren't aware, if you are doing organic content on Facebook or Meta, really. I think what works really well with what you've shown us there, Stacey, is that, Mark Zuckerberg and his team are obviously, it's in their best interest to make sure that they're serving up very relevant content. But we were talking to Dennis Yu, who has this amazing $1 a day strategy where you can basically boost your organic content. And his strategy is very, very much based on the premise that, you boost your high performing organic content for $1 a day, and then you get, fresh eyes on it. And what he spoke about was the most important thing for that is that you invest your time in the organic content that you are creating, because Meta now has an incredible way of actually creating an audience based on the type of people that are already interacting with the community, with your content, right? So you don't even have to do what you did in the old days of like, my audience is between the ages of this and that, and I think they live here and they're interested in this, that, and the other. They will actually profile the people that are already engaging with your content. So it's in your best interest to then, really invest in your organic content and then see what works really well, using strategies like what Stacey's doing here. And then you can boost it for as little as $1 a day to get more reach and get more engagement from people just like them, which then goes into, I think, your fourth circle of who else like them can you engage with. So now's basically the best time it's ever been to really make sure that you're focusing on organic content creation and giving it, your everything. So, but I'd like to build on that, Stacey, as well, with kind of your take on that, and how do you actually go about creating organic content that actually gets people to engage and get people to actually join you in your gathering place that you spend all this time trying to create?
Yeah, I love this. Okay, yeah. So this is so funny because all of this was like kind of like an accident where I wasn't doing any of this for content. I was doing it to like test a formula, right? Which was me helping people get out of their comfort zone. And so I have this challenge, it's Find Your Voice, and it's basically these like self-reflective dares. And which things like if you were going to write a book, what book would you write? Like that, those kinds of questions that you're asking yourself, but you're doing it in a community. And so you're just feeling like safer to be more, do more, because you're with other people who are like doing it too. And you're all having this like group vulnerability because it's in a private group. And so what happened though, right in the middle of that challenge, I was like looking and I'm like, this is actually like really good, like video, that they could be like using, right? And then the same thing happened in my audience accelerator program. And I think it was right around the time Deidre came in my group. And I was like, oh my gosh, so these dares, so I give dares and things like I said, so the dare would be like, what's a book that you would want to write, right? So I give them a dare, they go live in the group. And then, oh my gosh, can I show you how crazy this is? Like, it's like, I'll just share my screen. I think I can share it really quick. Yeah, I have it open from earlier, but basically like, let's see if I don't know if you could see me here, but so can you see my screen? Oh no, did I just mess it up? Because I can't hear you now. I'm going to stop sharing. We'll stop sharing. I'm like, I'm undoing. Oh no, now I can't hear you. Oh, no. Oh well, I think they can hear me. Okay, so one of the dares is, can you guys hear me? So one of the dares is find a quote that means something to you and reflect on it. So that was a dare that I gave. I gave that today actually in my wealth experiment program. And so they're going live in my community and they're basically saying this quote and reflecting on it. And so then what happens is you put it into Capsho, this dare, you upload it. And so that's why I was so excited to connect with you guys during this challenge, because what a gift you gave everyone a chance to use this software, right? And so what happens is when you put the dare in, oh, you can't hear me. Okay, thanks, Laura. Good to see you. Yeah, when you put the dare in Capsho, it pulls out like magic. Like it is literally like I've used Capsho before, but not from like my dares. I used it from like podcast episodes and lives, but just from like a simple, like, again, you guys could do it at home. You don't need a dare, or just like, I'll dare you, find a quote that means something to you and reflect on it, and then put it in the 21-day content challenge group. But then what happens is you could throw up your thoughts literally when you're talking, and you could just be like, oh, and I think I like this, and this is what I love, and blah, blah, blah. And then they upload it, they put it in Capsho, and then it creates these like beautiful posts. So that's how you bring in the people and I'm excited about that $1 a day strategy, because what will happen is as you're posting these things on your platform, you're going to get to see which ones are the more engaged posts, right? And
Yes.
so those are the ones that you would put in as ads. But yeah, but that's what's happening is people are then like, they're not just joining your group because like they're like, oh, I want to support her. They're like seeing your heart because you're
Mm,
pouring out like who you are and you're opening yourself up in like the most beautiful way. And so when you post something from Capshow on your page, they're seeing you, right? And
mm.
they're literally connecting to your heart. And so that's what I love. Like that, this is the first time that I've mixed the dare with Capshow, and it's been like the coolest thing because like you could do a 3 minute like throw up session of like saying your thoughts, like getting everything out of your head, and then you upload it, and it's literally like magic, you know?
Yes,
So,
yes. I remember when you told me about this, Stacey, that was kind of when it clicked for me as well. Because we talk a lot about, Capture, you can use it for, polished content or content you've already created and things like that. But yeah, where it's literally a bit of a brain dump. And that's what, a lot of these are. And it's like, that's amazing. I thought of it, but I hadn't really thought of it in context like you had shared and what people can get from it. So I was just like, that makes a lot of sense to me. And yeah, I love that. I love that example. Okay,
yeah.
another quick question for you here, also from Stephen. Any thoughts on eventually moving people from your private Facebook group to other platforms like Mighty Networks? Oops, I can't really show this,
Yeah,
but or paid.
100%. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, I 100%. I love. I still love the free Facebook group as a way to because you're getting their email, they're telling you why they're joining. And so if another platform will do that, then feel free to move your free group. But keep in mind, the free group is there as a feeder. You could move them into a paid experience on any platform. Like I have a private WhatsApp chat with my group that's paid,
Mm,
so, and then I have school on another portal that I'm using for a paid program. So it is okay. Like, and then the other thing too, I wanted to share is because you're starting with the 100 founding member concept, and for those of you that have more, it's okay. But like when you treat people like, um, just from a really relational, conversational way, and you're getting to know them, then what happens is they'll follow you anywhere, So it
mm,
almost doesn't even matter what platform you're on because it's like the people that want to go are gonna go. Like for example, even with my new group, the collaboration group, I have the challenge group. That one has like 2,000 people in it. And I just mentioned what I'm doing. I told people about the collaboration group, and the people that wanted to join joined, but I'm not like, it's like almost like now, great. Now the people that are wanting to play in that space are playing with that space, and
yes.
so they're following based on what I'm doing. And
Mm,
so that's to me what is the best part of it is it kind of almost doesn't even matter. That's why I say like the platform you want to pick is the one that's best for you, the one that you're going to use because you don't want to be exhausted using something, and the one that your people like being on, and something that's really easy, because if something's complicated, that's annoying. But if it
mm,
is free, you want to make sure you're getting their emails, because otherwise I feel like you're losing a whole piece of what this whole thing is, which is growing your, I hate the word list, but for you guys, you probably like that, growing your list.
yeah, we're soulless, so we'll happily say going. No,
No,
it's amazing.
I have little words. So because I came from a staffing background, and
Yes.
I mentioned this actually came from Capshow, was what pulled it out, because I did this in a dare. But the old ways of staffing, they talked about people as bodies, and it just
Mm,
like irked me so much, And
yes.
so I was like, that's why I get so annoyed when people use the word list
Yes.
and what's the other word? It's escaping me. But anyway, there's a couple internet words that people use, and I'm like,
Mm.
no, they're people. Let's get to know the people,
Yes. It's like in product management and Capture, we've moved away even in our internal documents and talking about our users as users. So it's very software to be like, as a user, I want to be able to do this. And we've reframed how we write our user stories to be more human centric, because like, no, this is a real person with a real life who is paying us money every month. So we need to think about them as a person. So I'm totally on board with that. But sometimes, words slip. So love
Yeah.
that. Yes. And I will say as well, Stephen, to add to what Stacey was just talking about, one thing that we found is almost, wherever your paid platform is going to be, kind of in the so for Capsho, our free Capsho group is on Facebook. Because of Stacey and Jenna's persistence, we were able to say, okay, fine, we'll do it. So it's actually been really great. But we basically, it's just almost like not advertising, but you kind of identify who would take the extra step to pay for a more paid membership, but also the extra you have to have another login somewhere else. But you just kind of are really clear to them what the benefits are of joining the paid membership, so that people can assess for themselves whether it's something that they necessarily want. So for example, for Capsho, we have Capsho Club, where you can join Capsho Club to get like more hands-on help, and weekly hackathons. Some people are fine with just getting free training, and that's available in the free group. But it's like, but hey, to get more hands-on help where you can actually, get our help applying it for your business, then you join an hour later in a private Zoom room. And that's kind of like the paid membership, if you will. And then we kind of then cycle back out wins from our paid membership into the free group, just to like kind of, keep it top of mind for people, but they can still celebrate without necessarily having to join. So that's what we found works really well, where we're not being elitist with our paid side of things, but there's still enough of a jump or a status to say, okay, this is what you get as a more, as a premium paying member. So that's what we found really works really well. And while still building a sense of community where there's the two-way kind of interaction between the paid and the non and the free community as well.
Yeah, I love that,
Awesome.
because it's all about like wherever you can create the conversations, right? And
Mm,
so like even with that other company that I'm helping them with their challenge right now, I just wanted to make sure I could still do polls. I could like ask questions that people could interact with. Those are the things that are really important, is that there's an easy way to facilitate those conversations. And as long as there is, then I think anything. I mean, my daughter was even showing me on Instagram. She has a group messenger chat on Instagram, which I never even knew existed. And so like even something like that is fine, so just like
yeah,
looking and seeing what the options are for different things.
absolutely. Absolutely. And more of these platforms are making it easier for you to have those more, private and, more exclusive experiences. So that's
Yeah.
great. All right. Well, let me know if there's any other questions here. We have one about the challenge. We actually don't know if there will be a next one. So let us know in the comments if we should run this again. I don't know if it takes a lot of effort, you guys. So, and we obviously you guys are totally worth it, but it does take a lot from two very small but mighty teams, Ecamm and Capsho. So we don't know if we have the mettle to do it again, soon. But if you would like for us to run it again, definitely let me know so I can take it back to the team. So there's no hard date for the next one just yet. So I will just jump in now. We will leave the content. We've had this question a few times as well. We'll leave the content up in the group for a few more weeks, so you don't have to. So we don't shut it all off at the end of this week. So even this training with Stacey, for example, will be available on the replay, because we know that people might want to rewatch or catch it on the replay as well. So I would definitely jump in now and take advantage of the remaining time, as well as whatever else we'll leave up. So, all right. Well, Stacey, this was wonderful. I think I've taken up more time of yours than I was planning to. But please, how can people get in touch with you, stay in touch with you, join your amazing community? Please let us know. We're hooked.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. This has been so much fun. And I love the challenge. I think it's such a great way for people to try it out and then also get the accountability, right? Like, because it was so
Yes.
funny. And I just want to take a minute because it was funny. I'm seeing people that I invited to the challenge doing more than like I've done so far. So I'm like, man, I got to like get in there,
Yeah.
and like really like do it. Like
We've had
because
that too. Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
anyway, so just from that perspective of me being motivated now, because obviously like the more we can use these tools, the better it's going to be for everything.
Yes.
And so I'd love you guys to join my community. It's dothethingcollaboration.com. And we are built on collaborations. I actually have an expert panel I'm doing even tomorrow, where we're like going to be diving in all the great things that we're going to be able to do in there, like hot seats, and people are going to be like doing all kinds of playing in there. We're doing podcast swaps, Facebook lives. There've been joint ventures that have come from it. So it's a really fun community that we're doing. I'd love you guys to join.
Amazing. Yep. All right. We'll definitely go ahead and do that. Yes, we have some suggestions here from Jerome saying make it a little bit shorter. We'll definitely think about it. I've got my first few white hairs from this experience. So But it's a bit of a slippery slope after the first few. So, but please join me in thanking Stacey. Stacey, this has been so fun. I've learned so much. I know I speak for everyone in saying that. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your energy. Definitely go ahead and join Stacey's community. And for those of you who are interested, we'll be back on Thursday, same time, with the training with Jenna Larson, who's going to be talking about. She's the founder of Group Track CRM. Stacey loves her as well. We love her. She's going to be talking about how you can actually now, from this community that you're building, basically start conversations in the DMs that are not icky, by the way, because I know a lot of them can feel icky when they're cold, and actually nurture them into conversions, whatever that means for you. So definitely join us for that. But once again, thank you so much, Stacey. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and we will see you at the next session. All right, bye everyone.